citizens, this is Jim with JP Reacts, where a former candidate teaches you how to think like a politician so you know what they mean by what they say and they don't say. Today we're going to be talking about the nomination of Neera Tanden. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned after this. Okay, so we're going to jump right into this. This is from The Beat with Ari Melber on MSNBC, which I will link to below. Let's listen to the news.
News breaking out of the White House moments ago, Neera Tanden will not move forward in her nomination. President Biden had wanted her to be director of the Office of Management and Budget, but she faced what was increasingly bipartisan opposition in this narrowly divided Senate. There were some complaints about comments she made on Twitter about politicians and other matters. President Biden.
So basically, for those that don't know, Neera Tanden has made some tweets attacking members of the Senate based on their politics and where they're sitting and her feelings in relation to that. Neera Tanden is a pretty prominent member of the progressive movement and has been working a long time on progressive issues, so she has taken issue with some of the policy or political stances some senators have made in the past and has tweeted about it. And from the looks of it, if you haven't heard, it sounds like she basically hurt their feelings. That's what it generally boils down to. Looking at her experience, she has a law degree from Yale. She was also the editor of the law review at Yale, so that's a pretty big deal. She worked for the Clintons, which I know is a disqualifier for some, but it's not really that big of a deal. She just worked with them for a long time. In 2008, she was actually working on Secretary Clinton's campaign, and when President Obama beat her in the primary, she was one of the first from that campaign to transition over to President Obama's campaign. And then since then, she's worked with the Senators for American Progress on their issues. Has even been the CEO. So she's definitely has the experience to be able to be successful in the role of Office Management and Budget, otherwise known as OMB. And it really comes down to, it sounds like she hurt the feelings of some of the senators in her tweets, which is unusual given the recent past, but that's not really a great reason to not allow a nomination to go forward. But I guess when you are trying to get somebody to approve you into position, you probably shouldn't have a history of attacking those people. That's probably politics 101. Let's see where this goes.
Has now released a statement that accepts Tanden's request to withdraw out of this nomination process. The president adding that he actually looks forward to having her serve in another role in the administration. NBC's Shannon Pettypiece has been following the story and joins us now. Shannon, your view of this and the significance for people who may remember Ms. Tanden from other administrations and being on television, but what else does this show about the nature of this divided Senate's control over some nominees?
Well, it shows the control of Senator Joe Manchin, who was really the first Democrat to come out against her nomination. The White House thought they could get some Republican support. All this talk of bipartisanship, though, did not pan out on this one. They were holding out hope that Senator Lisa Murkowski might come on and say that she would vote for Tanden. So without Joe Manchin, that could have given them enough votes to get this nomination through, but no Republican support. They lost the...
So Joe Manchin is a very conservative Democrat from West Virginia. He's one of the key people that has prevented Senator Schumer from eliminating the filibuster, which we've talked about before is a pretty undemocratic thing to have. And she's attacked his politics in the past. Lisa Murkowski is a senator from Alaska. She's kind of independent. She's a Republican, but she has voted against some of the Republicans in the past. Generally speaking, nominations are pretty bipartisan. Most senators, unless there's something dramatically wrong with a candidate, will generally accept a president's ability to nominate the people they want working in their cabinet. The fact that this one was even close is a little unusual because there's been far more left-leaning people that President Biden has gotten through the Senate a lot more easily. I know Neera Tanden had specifically called out Senator Manchin on Twitter, which clearly upset him in some way. So he's the one that's basically standing in the way of her nomination going through for the OMB.
Support of this sort of swing vote moderate Democrat in Joe Manchin, who has a long history of disagreement with Neera Tanden. And so that has left them in the position of having to pull one of their nominations here, and a really significant nomination in the Office of Budget Management, given the state that the country is in right now. Now, you saw in this statement, and you noted they indicated there may be a place for her in the administration going forward, and that's something that I've been hearing from people close to this process, that if not now, there could be another job for her in the administration that doesn't require Senate confirmation. So another thing to continue to watch for. We probably have not seen the last of Neera Tanden, but this does leave them, in a sense, going back to the drawing board on OMB. We have heard a number of names speculated out there, but the White House...
Before she talks about the speculation on other names, just to be clear, there are different levels of appointed positions at the White House. A good chunk of them have to be Senate approved, but there are a lot of positions that aren't Senate approved that require Senate approval. So it sounds like Neera Tanden will get one of those non-Senate approval, because it sounds like President Biden really values her opinion and wants her to weigh in on some of these things. And the facts of the matter is, we just came out of a period with a president who generally viciously attacked people on Twitter, with far greater venom than Neera Tanden ever did. Now, I don't want to set the bar for moving forward at President Trump's level, but the fact of the matter is all his nominations went through, and the only difference is now this is a Democrat. And another main difference is a woman of color. So that has to be weighed into it as well. And it's not a good look for Senator Manchin to stand in the way of this nomination just because his feelings got hurt. So hopefully Neera Tanden will land, she'll land on her feet in the White House somewhere, but hopefully it doesn't stall the president's agenda, and because we need to get stuff moving through the Senate and through the House.
The White House has really not indicated who they might actually be putting forward for this nomination, at least as of this point.
Yeah. And politics not always known for consistency, but some of the Republican senators who say they were outraged by this had famously and repeatedly insisted they won't look at Twitter, which is why they couldn't comment on the former president's tweets.
Right, yes. And I would say this really came down to Senator Joe Manchin, who is very concerned about budgets. That is one of his priorities. He has disagreed with Tanden and her organization on a number of issues going back a number of years. I talked to someone familiar with Joe Manchin who said, this isn't about him playing games or politics in any way. This is about him having fundamental disagreements with Tanden on a lot of issues. But without his support and without being able to pick up any Republicans, that essentially killed this nomination. Now, there are a couple other nominees still out there that have some sort of a lot of Republican opposition. Javier Becerra for HHS, Deb Haaland for Interior Secretary. So far, though, Democrats are lockstep on them. They're holding the line. So despite Republican opposition, if Democrats hold, those nominations should be going forward.
So, like I said, there's some contradictions between it. I know he says it's not political, but it's basically political. His differences are by such a small degree to what Neera Tanden's would be, and plus, just because somebody is in the Office of Budget and Management doesn't mean they set the total policy. That still comes from the president. And so the fact is that we're going to have to wait to see if there's another nomination coming up. So to wrap things up here, Neera Tanden was the nominee from President Biden for the Office of Management and Budget, otherwise known as the OMB, which you may have heard about in the news. Basically, her nomination has been withdrawn due to some opposition from Republicans and primarily Senator Manchin from West Virginia. It turns out most of the opposition is based on mean tweets that she has sent in the past about certain senators. Obviously, if you're looking to get some approval from a group of people, you probably don't want to attack them on Twitter. So that's a political no-no for the most part. But the facts of the matter are that we had a president who did far worse, and pretty much all his nominations went through. It does not look good on Senator Manchin that this is a woman of color that he's all of a sudden objecting to. So hopefully he gets that message and we can move forward on the next nomination process, and he doesn't stand in the way of any more. Hopefully you got something out of this. You learned a lot. If you did, please like this video below. And in the comments, I want to hear about who do you think will be the replacement for Neera Tanden for OMB? Who do you think President Biden will nominate next? I look forward to seeing those comments and seeing you around the internet. Have a great night. Bye.